In this chapter, we are going to learn about atmosphere, composition of the atmosphere, and climate, elements of weather and climate, and cyclone, nature's theory.
Good morning, children. This fine morning, in this class we are going to discuss about air. This is chapter number 4. Chapter number 4, that is air. The following concepts we are going to discuss. One is introduction about atmosphere. Next, composition of atmosphere, structure of the atmosphere, weather and climate, elements of weather and climate, and ozone. So let us see about the introduction part.
Air surrounding the Earth's surface. This layer provides oxygen to human beings, and all these gases are present in the atmosphere. Atmosphere is a mixture of gases which sustain life on the Earth.
Look at the major gases present in the atmosphere and their composition. The following animation will give a detailed explanation of the composition of the atmosphere. Now take a look at the structure of atmosphere. There are 5 layers of atmosphere, namely Troposphere, Stratosphere, Mesosphere, Thermosphere, and Exosphere. The subtopics are Troposphere, Stratosphere, Mesosphere, Thermosphere, and Exosphere.
Troposphere is the most important layer of the atmosphere. It is the lowest portion of the Earth's atmosphere. The average height of this layer is 13 kilometers. Stratosphere lies above the troposphere. It extends up to a height of 50 kilometers. It is free from clouds and the associated weather phenomenon. It is ideal for flying airplanes. Mesosphere is the third layer of the atmosphere lying above stratosphere. It extends up to a height of 80 kilometers. Temperature starts decreasing with height. It is the coldest atmospheric layer. On entering from the space, meteorites burn out in this layer. Meteorites either vaporize or melt down due to the friction with the molecules present in this layer. Above mesosphere lies the thermosphere. Temperature rises very rapidly in this layer with the increasing height. It extends from 80 to 400 kilometers. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It contains the electrically charged particles known as ions. layer helps in radio transmission. Radio waves transmitted from the air are reflected back by this layer. Exosphere is the uppermost layer of the atmosphere. It extends from 400 km of height above the ionosphere and merges with the space. It is the transition zone between the Earth's atmosphere and the interplanetary space. It has very thin air. Light gases such as helium and hydrogen float into the space from here.
Layers of atmosphere. Name the layer that protects us from the harmful radiations of the sun. The options are A. Troposphere, B. Ozone Layer, C. Mesosphere, and D. Thermosphere. The answer is ozone layer. Ozone layer is the atmospheric layer which protects the Earth from the harmful ultraviolet radiations of the sun. This layer contains relatively higher concentrations of ozone. It is mainly found in the lower portions of the stratosphere. The ozone layer was discovered in 1913 by the French physicists Charles Abbe and Henry Busson. You all must have realized that the atmospheric conditions of the place where we live in keep on changing every day. It is the weather which keeps on changing every day. When these weather conditions like temperature, wind, rainfall, clouds averaged over many years, it forms the climate of the planet. Let us study about weather and climate and how it influences us. Weather is the state of atmosphere at any particular place or time. It can be hot, cold, windy, cloudy, or humid. It generally changes from day to day. Climate refers to all the weather conditions for a particular place over a long period of time. It depends on the location of that place on the earth. Like, is the place near the sea or away from it? Is the place located on a mountain or at sea? The elements of weather and climate are temperature, air pressure, wind, and moisture. Let us discuss each of these elements. The subtopics are temperature, air pressure, wind, and moisture.
Temperature is the degree of hotness and coldness of the air. Temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night, but also from season to season. Standard unit of measuring, degree Celsius. It was invented by Anders Celsius. Temperature is measured by the thermometer. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Summers are hotter than the winters. Insolation is an important factor that influences the distribution of temperature. Insolation is the incoming solar energy received by the Earth. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the poles. Temperature also decreases in the same manner. Temperature in cities is much higher than that in villages. It is because of the high-rise buildings, vegetation, and construction materials like concrete and metal metal that trap the warm air and thus raise the temperature of the cities. Atmospheric pressure.
As we have seen in the animation that air pressure changes with altitude. So as we go up the layers of the atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by the temperature of air at a given place. Let us see the direction of wind movement. It moves from high pressure cold areas to the low pressure warm areas. Take a look at the movement of the air. Here we can see that warm air is light and starts rising. After cooling at the high altitude, cool air starts sinking. Low pressure is created where the air rises, and high pressure is created where the air sinks. Air moves from the high pressure area to low pressure area. This horizontal movement of air from the areas of high pressure to the areas of low pressure is called wind. Wind is the air in motion. It is produced by the uneven heating of the surface of the earth by the sun. Take a look at the types of winds. Winds can be broadly classified as permanent winds, seasonal winds, and local winds. Permanent winds blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. These are of three types, based on the latitudes in which they blow. In the tropical latitudes, trade wind blows. In the temperate latitudes, westerlies blow. And in the polar region, polar easterlies blow. Another type of wind is the seasonal wind. These winds change their directions in different seasons. For example, the monsoon winds in India.
The monsoons.
Local winds blow only during a particular period of the day or year in a small area. Examples of local winds are Lu and land and sea breeze. Let us watch this animation to understand the formation of land and sea breeze. The earth is encircled by several prevailing wind belts. The direction and location of these wind belts are determined by solar radiation and rotation of the earth. Watch the animation carefully to know about the major pressure belts of the earth. We have studied about the various elements of weather. Now the question arises that how can we measure these elements? there are various weather instruments like thermometer, rain gauge, barometer, and wind vane, which help us to measure examples. Let us watch the animation to know about the functions of different weather instruments.
This will wind up, children. Next class will continue with the weather instruments. Clear?